Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and yeah, that first clip, trust me, I sure as hell didn't expect that shot to land, so I was really surprised, and that felt pretty damn good. So that was Sergeant Leviticus, who ended up in my my division right afterwards. He was like, hey, how's it going? Poor guy. But yeah, been playing the hell out of Warships and a lot of Curvers, Montana, and Hindenburg action, and I cannot wait to show you the glorious Hindenburg matches. And actually, I had back-to-back games that I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but if you follow my Twitter, then you've already been spoiled. But that, and I had a pair of really good, like, well, not great, but like very solid Curvers matches that were back-to-back. You know, 2600 base XP for both of those. The Hindenburg matches were 3200 base XP back-to-back, so I was pretty happy. But yeah, I want Clash of the Elements to be done with already. I really am not all that fond of a lot of the in-game competitions that they have. I don't know. I mean, I know it's okay for spicing up the gameplay and stuff like that, but I don't know, people just play kind of weird, and, you know, at least it's not like you have to collect 50,000 fire damage or 100,000 fire damage like one of the contests in the past. That just sucked. You know, battleships like a North Carolina going broadside against a New Mexico who's who's shooting HE. They're both shooting HE at each other. I mean, I remember losing a few matches just because of that, and that really sucks. So, but anyways, interesting situation here. We've got, I should have deleted that Chapiev, but, you know, whatever. I'll deal with him in a moment. The Yamato shot at my bow, and, whoop, right there. Yeah, 60mm armor right there. That's not gonna happen at all, buddy. I was really hoping the Moskva there would pull broadside, because I would have loved to have been able to engage 4 different opponents here as my secondaries finish off the curve first. I got my front turrets going against the Chapiev, and I've got my secondaries. I don't know how the hell that didn't kill him. I've got my secondaries going against the Yamato, but I actually switch him over to the Chapiev, and you'll see those shooting off right now. And I've got my rear turrets coming around and dumping right into the side of the Yamato for 5 citadels. And there's the double strike. So got 108,000 damage in that tiny little stretch of time, but we lost anyways. So there's a whole saying in the stream, rear turret, best turret. And I'm not sure if you saw that dispersion, but you should be noticing it right now, because that is perfect. And that is why you shoot at destroyers as a battleship. Because I doubt that that guy ever expected to be nailed from 15 kilometers away by a curve, first of all things. So we have Shimakaze and Fletcher showing up here. We have the Moskva to my right, who's got his radar going. Got my secondaries on the Fletcher, of course, and suddenly they don't have any destroyers left. Now we can be a hell of a lot more aggressive. So, you know, the damage output this game was probably lower than I would have expected if somebody said, yeah, you're going to have, you know, multiple dev strikes and, you know, get some other rewards as well. I'm not going to spoil it, but that was a good salvo. But it just, I was having a lot of trouble up to this point in the night, and I had no expectations going into this one, but I was like, I'm going to be pissed if I don't get like 9 dev strikes. Ended up with a few, and here's a Kutuzov, and I wasn't going, I knew the Kutuzov was here, of course, and now he's gone, but there was a curve first directly in front of me, and I had my Hydra running. I totally expected the Kutuzov to dump some torps at me, but he never did, which is really strange. And yeah, so I wanted to, I'd rather take the torp damage than deal with the broadside of a curve first, especially if my turrets aren't going to be facing him. So, like if I turn south as opposed to turning north. But yeah, there we go. Got the crack in there. I was hoping for a sweet-ass double strike there, but it didn't happen. You know, the thing that really surprises me with the Kerr first is sometimes the accuracy of this thing is just incredible, and other times it's only powerful because of the fact that it's throwing 12 shells. You know, much the way the New Mexico or the Fuso, they can be accurate. I mean, any battleship can be. Even the Mikasa, I've done some awesome shots with that. The Kawachi, Yogi, it can happen. But every battleship suffers from just trash dispersion and also benefits from incredible dispersion. And that's why you just have to try to be as consistent as possible with your shots and making them count. You know, with the 30-second reload or thereabouts, you know, you are relying so much more on those shells to do something, and that's why it's, I would say, actually even more imperative that you try to focus on destroyers to clear them out, because if the destroyers are gone, then you can definitely focus on damage dealing. But your damage doesn't mean shit if you're going to be surrounded by torps, because all their destroyers are still alive when you were trying to hunt for damage. You know, it's damage is probably, I would say, the least relevant stat in the game, except when it comes to carriers, actually, because that means quite a bit when it comes to carriers. But a battleship, I'd rather do 20,000 damage, you know, 30,000 damage in a match if I clear out all the destroyers than 100,000 damage in a match. Like, you know, because one, I know I'm going to get a few kills or whatever, and so on and so forth. It's worth so much more to your team to be able to clear out enemy DDs, and I think that's something that people really just, they see big numbers and they just start going batshit crazy. I mean, yeah, 22,000 damage salvo without a sit, yeah, that's great. I'm happy about that. But one way or another, destroyers are the most important ships you're going to be shooting at, probably in any situation during the game. You know, they matter more because if a destroyer's on the cap, well, you have to get a hell of a lot closer to that cap to be able to knock him off. And that alone means something. I mean, the battleship very rarely gets the chance to cap, and, you know, cruisers, they can cap, but I mean, you're dealing with double the detection range, so it's, you know, it's a lot easier. At some point, you know you're going to see him. You'd never really have that guarantee against the destroyer. So we've got a cyclone going crazy here on hotspot, and we're about to go down in the brawl. I really wish I had that salvo back. I would have aimed a bit higher and hopefully done more damage. Now, this is really interesting here. Kerr first versus Kerr first. I've got half health, he's got full health. I'm trusting these guys behind me to torp the shit out of him. And unfortunately, I don't lead as much as I should have here against the Montana. And I mean, 25,000 damage, yay. But I could have done a lot more. And now that I'm closer, I can pretty much use the same lead, and I dump 32,000 damage into him. But both he and I ignore each other because we know we're gonna die. The important part here, in my opinion, is taking care of the torp-capable ships. The Bismarck nailed the shit out of me there, by the way, but I was really hoping that, you know, anytime there's a torp-capable ship in a cyclone, they gotta go first. You know, destroyers are always priority, of course, but after that, like a Tirpitz or any torp-capable cruiser, they gotta die. And obviously, with the second shot there that I had against the Henry, I aimed way too low and I bounced right off of him. I didn't realize it was my rear turret that was going to do that. If it was my front turret, I certainly would have had a better angle there and possibly would have killed him there. But, you know, without having to wait for another turret to reload. But yeah, it's just it's interesting to me how people don't seem to understand that you'll get a hell of a lot more XP if you're shooting at destroyers. You know, a couple shell pens, overpens are worth a lot. I mean, you're talking, you know, 5-10% of their health pool with a single overpen. If you do a shell pen, that's, say, 4,000 damage, you know, 3,800 or 4,300, depending on the ship you're using, of course. I'm talking about high tier. Just one shell pen, and that's a considerable portion of even a Kabarovsk with survivability expert. I mean, instead of 26,000 health, he's down to 22,000 or less. I mean, that's not something that he can just, laugh off or whatever. He's got to really start thinking about, oh shit, all right, this guy's not joking around. He's shooting AP. I got to be careful. There's a nice depth strike, and I love destroyers. I love playing them. I don't play them anymore or all that much not because of Invisifire or anything else, other than carriers. Because holy shit, people have become so much more proficient at just blasting destroyers out in the high tier games, and to me it's kind of tiresome. So I don't really want to play the gearing right now. I mean, even the Fletcher. But speaking of carriers, I don't know why the hell this guy keeps sending his planes over 2 Missouris and the Des Moines, but we're racking up some good plane kills here, and you'll see in a moment, especially the Des Moines. So we're in a ridiculous situation here. The Des Moines isn't part of our division. It's myself and Pope Shizzle, and this is so stupid. I'm shooting the superstructures for damage, and just trying to stay bow in, tank as much damage as possible, and this just keeps creeping on and on and on. And there's a good hit from Pope Shizzle behind me, and zoom in and then pull out with the mouse wheel to get the guns aiming down a little bit more, and managed to finish off that guy. But more and more planes, and now for some reason there's the Midway. I don't understand, but it's really funny now. And Pope Shizzle is trying to push in and get something done, but he runs into the dead battleship's carcass there, and then I thought I was going to be able to get around, but I'm stuck here too. Meanwhile, these planes are dropping out of the sky. It looks like catapults, like launching like flaming balls or whatever into the sky. I mean, it looks absolutely ridiculous. And now he's kind of stuck on the island. This is so stupid watching this again. And I'm trying to, I guess now I'm trying to push him by sliding, and he finally breaks through, and what do? I shoot him. That was one of the most ridiculous things I've experienced in a while. Just a funny-ass situation. 1,000,000 credits, and look at that, the Des Moines, 74 planes shot down, and we had 4 players over 2100 base XP. That is amazing. But let's switch gears over to the Montana, because apparently I've been told this ship is, like, just really weak. Nope, gonna have to disagree with you on that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's better than the Kurfürst, it's better than the Yamato, it's better than anything. It's just its own type of ship. But it feels pretty damn good because of how accurate it is, and boom! Yeah, you want to talk about the list of expected results there? A detonation on the Yamato was not one of them. But, the thing I love about the Montana is its long-range accuracy, and now, again, shell volume has a lot to do with this, and again, when you're running the negative 11% to dispersion for the second or third module slot, it makes a huge, it is the third slot, it makes a huge difference. I will not run this ship without it. I mean, look at this. Look at those shells, man. That is goddamn beautiful. And the Yamato is the absolute king at the long range. I'm talking like 20 kilometer plus. The shell groupings are insanely good. And, I want to say, I hate the Yamato. I think it's a boring ass ship to play. But, when I do play it, I run the, the range mod and the accuracy mod, I think. I think that's the combination I use. And I actually run the scout plane with it too. And I've scored on this map, actually. I've scored hits at 32 kilometers for 20, 30,000. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago because I never play the ship. But look at this. This is a very long shot here, and I'm lucking out in all sorts of ways. But look at the right half of those shells there. That is fantastic dispersion at this range. Touchdown. Fuck yeah. And this Amagi here, Look, he's lining up the Donskoy that I hit earlier for the same idea, and there he goes. Both ships got killed in literally the same spot, so that was funny. That guy had quite the laugh about that. I think he said he had a sub 40,000 or sub 50,000 damage Kraken, which is ridiculous, but you know, yay. And unfortunately I overled this, but that's a pretty damn good salvo too at that range. And granted, that dude is like perfectly flat. If there was any angle there whatsoever, I wouldn't have hit him. Like I wouldn't have done that damage, I can tell you that much. The Yamato's very sensitive to the angles and whatnot of a Yamato, or really any ship that's not a cruiser. But that was a hell of a shot too. 19,000 damage against the Kabaros. God, that felt so good, because that match was a total throwaway, and unfortunately that's been happening a fair bit. But when you get folks like this, like Poulter helping me out with smoke, he did this again. He actually smoked me up 3 times in one match, which was amazing. And then we had this match, which I'll call out the guy here as well. I think his name is Reaper 1 Delta. I think it's Z46. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Z46, but look at this salvo. It's amazing. If you can catch people at that range with like any of the battleships, really, and oh, it's just amazing. But I really was hoping for another dev strike there, but somehow I couldn't connect with the guy's Citadel. Lost a fair bit of HP against the Yamato here, and again, I'm thinking that the Yamato is faster than it is, and I do some damage, but not quite the damage I was hoping for. And we've got Reaper 1 Delta helping me out here, dropping smoke. And if you look at the minimap, I'm way ahead. I'm way ahead of my support. We've got a Missouri that's doing jack shit all the way in the back, and there's nobody else here to help me against the same guys I was just in a match with on hotspot. But this didn't turn out so well. I mean, that salvo did, but it just, it's frustrating sometimes watching this stuff. Be like, you know, why people hang back and do nothing, you know. But yeah, Reaper 1 Delta's not one of those guys. Look at that. Dude has 66 HP, and he's running Adrenaline Rush. So I asked him what the reload is on his torps, and it's down to 58 seconds, which obviously you're not going to get better torp reload than that with Adrenaline Rush. I mean, there's so little you could do to be able to get your health even further down, but unfortunately he's got a Moskva directly in front of him, and all these secondary shells are coming in. Finally gets taken out, but along the way down manages to get the Yamato. So that was that guy played really well. That was fun to watch him play, and he had the right attitude about it. He was all about the aggressive posturing and, you know, making sure that he was able to still dump torps. Now this was an interesting match. I was just playing solo. 3 Kurfürst and a Friedrich, which, being in a solo Montana, I was certainly quite worried about. But this was a fascinating match, and it actually was a personal first for me. So you're gonna see I'm trying to stay a bit more at range, because I do not want to come under fire from multiple Kurfürst and the Friedrich at once. But the Montana does so damn well against the German battleships, especially, you know, you'll see me do this all the time. I'll take damage just because I can, and it's a bit reckless with, you know, the Kurfürst or, you know, the Bismarck, that sort. But damn, that's a good salvo. 26,000 damage, and it doesn't matter if you can heal it. It changes the complexion of the game, because suddenly, you know, whether or not it's Citadel damage or shell pen damage, they're gonna react to it. They're gonna pull back, they're gonna have to use a repair, they're gonna have to do something, because one way or another you still hit them for a shitload of damage. And, you know, just because I didn't land a Citadel, I mean, I don't care. I'm still, you know, controlling this fight. Another 27,000 damage there, and this is insane. And if they were sitting bow forward, I wouldn't be able to do a damn thing. I'd, you know, probably just have to switch to AG. But they decided to you know, push ahead and see if they could, you know, knock us out of this area here and maybe push into our cap. But Montana wasn't having any of that shit today. And I'm up to 156,000 damage without a citadel. And so to be honest, I was streaming this and I'm like, I really want to see how much further this can go. I kind of chose to ignore the Essex there, and I really wasn't concerned about the Essex anyways, but I did kind of tunnel vision and kind of forgot about the Minotaur that was on their cap. So that was a little dumb. But I did dump some shots into the enemy Essex, and obviously that's my current damage total up there, and managed to get another 11,000 damage against the Kurfürst, and so I'm over 200,000 damage. Again, no citadels, and I'm trying to hit a personal milestone of achieving that damage total with 100 shell hits in a you know, in the Montana. I'm just curious to see, and sure enough, there we go. That was pretty crazy actually, but it was a great match. I mean, there's the shell hit totals, but yeah, kind of crazy, huh? Alright, well that concludes this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching today. I will be trying to stream as often as I can. I do plan on mixing it up, getting back to some more survival with the Division, and maybe back to some BF1 and see how that game's shaping up. But thank you for watching today, guys. I'll see you back here soon. Take care.